Hello and welcome once again to Ignite Your Impact. My name is Jen Rhodes. I am seated once again directly next to Mr. Matt Rhodes.
Hello, everyone. We are back.
We are back.
We missed a week. Last week, we're not going to go into details on this podcast
because we don't need to
we're still processing.
We needed to be mom and dad last week. And
all good. We had some health stuff with the kids. A little scary, but we are all good and we are back. And we're ready for this week.
We're home and everybody is where they need to be.
Yes. So I'm really excited about this week because we have three topics. These could all be three totally separate podcasts, but we have them rolled into one. And we're going to dive into, we're not going to dive into them super deep today, but you are going to realize real quick that the three items that we're going to go over is something that's holding you back in not only your fitness journey, but other areas. This is something that we find with every client, we found with ourselves. So hold on today because once we go through these, I think you're going to have a light bulb that goes off.
I agree.
Yes. Now, I know many of you have listened to all 104 episodes. This is 105. But I want to touch on a couple things going back for the new person that maybe hasn't got a chance really to know a little bit about us. And I won't spend too much time on there, but I do want to go back on a little bit of that.
I think our backstory is still very important and applicable here.
Yeah. We've got a ton of new listeners, so I want to go over some of that with them. But also, if you've been listening for a while, this should just go back to remind you why we're here, and how we even got here. So today, this podcast is really for the person who wants to exude confidence in everything, in your body, in your image. Whether you're walking into a boardroom or a bedroom, you want that confidence.
Yeah. Yes, you are definitely going to want to stick around for the third reason. So we're going to hit three, I'm going to call them beliefs. We're going to hit three beliefs. And you might be the person today that messages us and says, I swear you were talking directly to me.
You were saying, though, stick around for that third one because it is the silver bullet.
The third one is the silver bullet. It ties everything together.
And and everyone listening today, you probably have not heard this before. I'm guessing.
Yeah. So who is this message going to hit with today?
Yeah.
Like, who is this for? Let me start who it is not for. I always talk about the person who I do not serve. I do not serve victims. We are all responsible adults. But the person that this is not for, this message is not meant for, is the type of person that believes you must give up carbs. You must do a bunch of cardio. You're not the person for this. The Phoenix method will grind against everything that you might believe. And if you're not willing to change that belief, the Phoenix method is not for you. This message today is not for you. If you're the type of person that doesn't need to, doesn't see the need, I don't really need abs, or you don't really see the need to have your dream body, I'd just be happy with ... then this isn't for you. Now, if you're the type of person that says you don't see the need for the dream body, but secretly in the back of your head, you're like, no, yes, I do, then stay tuned. Don't count yourself out yet. There's still hope for you. If you're the type of person that wants and needs to be your best self, guess what? I am talking directly to you. You're my people. Stick around. This is for you. If you're the type of person that wants speed, meaning you value your time, you don't want to fuck around with Google. You don't want to do this on your own. You've tried it that way. It took too long and you're still where you are. You want this fixed without having to do a ton of research. You don't want to jump through hoops. I don't want to do all the burpees. I don't want to take years to fix this. This is for you. Finally, if you're the type of person that has tried everything, if you feel your hormones are getting in the way, if you feel like your metabolism is slowing down, if you feel like you've passed your prime and that dream body is a thing of the past, or that it's too late, I'm excited for you to hear this today.
Let me jump in and go back what I said earlier, explain a little bit about where we've come. Again, this will be the Cliff Notes version, but many of you know we've been in the fitness industry for 20 years. You know, we've been in brick and mortar gyms for 17. We've been online for 3. But even prior to that, we were in the supplement business. And the Phoenix Method.
Good times.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The Phoenix Method was developed just a few years ago, really right before we went online. Because I, like many of you, was not happy with the image in the mirror. And it wasn't just the mirror. I wasn't happy with who I was. I wasn't happy with what I stood for and what I stood against. And frankly, I didn't stand for anything and I didn't stand against anything. So it was beyond just that physical part. I was living that same day over and over. I think I can explain that day. It's vivid. Same day for years.
I think that's powerful that you said you stood for nothing and you also stood against nothing.
Yep.
Like there was no line in the sand.
Now, there were things I liked and didn't like, but there was no line. And I certainly as hell wouldn't get on social media or anywhere else and say it to anyone.
Yeah.
So I said it wasn't just physical, but I mean, there were the physical things that went along with it. It was that image staring me back in the mirror. You know, I remember the times in the closet going in there and trying to find clothes that would help cover up my insecurities, which was my belly and my face. You know, guys, that's where we develop it, is in our belly and our face, and you can't really hide your face, but you can sure hide the belly with clothes if you really work on it. And I remember those times. But more important, getting away from the physical side, I didn't think I was worth it. And what I mean by that is I didn't see myself as that confident person that could walk into a room and lead people like I used to feel that I was. And this all led me to go on a mission to find a way for a busy father, a busy parent to have it all. Because I knew there was people out there that had it all. Why couldn't I have that? And that was the mission I went on, to become a different person. And, you know, Jen and I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaching. From the best fitness, the best nutrition, the best mindset coaches. We hired them. We took all that together, and that's where the Phoenix Method was created, based on our past experiences, where we wanted to be, and all that training that we went through. And all 3 things that we're going to talk about today held us back, and I guarantee it's probably holding some of you back. The one thing, I'm going to start with the first one. We hear this with everyone before they work with us. I think it's everyone, because I think it's our age demographic that we work with.
It's been burned into our brains.
Well,
fitness culture.
But it's that 40 to 55 year range is really where we work with people. So they've been through this. They've been on the roller coaster.
Us Gen Xers.
And we've talked about this before, but it's worth revisiting. But again, like 99.9% of the clients we work with have this. It's very common, as you said, because the fitness industry has burned this into our brain and taught everyone, which is, I'm sure.
If you were in the fitness industry or succumbed to any of that style of marketing, late 80s into early 2000s.
Yes.
These are the people we're talking to. These are our clients.
Yep. So when we start, I'm going to dive into what this is. When we start with a client, we take things very slowly in the beginning. We want to make sure they're understanding things, they're adjusting, because this can be all a little bit new to people. And we want to make sure that they understand the process and how to do it so they can do it long term. A lot of people go at it on their own. Jen and I went on our own for a while, but a lot of people have done that many times, and they go on their own, and meaning they set a goal. This is the year. This is the time I get after it. And they know nutrition's what's holding them back. If you're listening, is that what's holding you back, your nutrition? So what happens? They start to starve themselves. And when I say start to starve themselves, I mean they cut carbs. And we don't have enough time in the day to tell you why this is bad. just to cut carbs?
Oh, no, I have plenty of time.
Just highlight highlight a couple.
I have hours on hours.
Let's highlight a couple.
First of all, the subconscious implications of restricting an entire food group. Don't think about a pink elephant. Don't eat sugar. Fuck, all I want is Skittles now. Right? So that's one. But you need carbs. Carbohydrates at its core converts directly to energy. Your body needs energy to function. If you do not put carbs into your body will seek out energy existing inside your body, which lives inside your muscle.
But you just said something that just popped in my head. But I hear a lot of people say, but I'm tough. I can give up carbs. I'm okay if I don't have the energy. The problem is...
It sucks. You need the carbs for your workouts.
That you just took the words out of my mouth.
Sorry, my bad.
No, that's perfect. You may be tough and may be able to go through your day without carbs, but your workouts are going to suffer. At the end of the day, they're going to suffer.
Yeah.
So jump back, keep going.
If you want tone, you got to work out. If you want to work out, you got to have a carb. It's okay. I've never met a morbidly obese person addicted to fruits and vegetables.
Yep.
Those are carbs. Stop it. Stop it. It's ridiculous. It's super important, which I think everyone will agree that giving up a certain food group is not sustainable. So you will not be able to do this for the rest of your life. If you've done it in the past, it was maybe what? 30, 60, 75, 90 days? What'd you do after? You dove right back in. It's not sustainable. So why don't we just teach you how to manage them without the psychotic roller coaster and teach you how to sustain it for the rest of your life? So regardless if you take the slow, sustainable path or you cut your wrists path, oh my gosh, there is a good chance. Like either way, if you did it slow and steady or all or nothing, you probably lost weight. You got really close to your goal or at your goal. And again, does this sound familiar? And then you went on the vacation. And what happened? Oh my God, Jen. I came back and I just couldn't get back into it. I just kept eating the same way. It just kept going and going and I stopped lifting. Does any of this sound familiar? You gorged yourself on vacation because you starved yourself prior. By day 2 or 3 of your vacation, you're looking puffy. And guess what? You're too drunk to notice, but your spouse does.
What sucks about that is you just put in 90 hard days of work and you just ruined it in 2 days.
Yeah. Let's keep it going down this trend. You come back and you're 15 pounds heavier. And within 2 months of getting back from vacation, you put that 15 pounds back that you lost because of you starving. I had somebody that went quiet on me and did that exact same thing. And they came back last week and they're like, well, I did it. I'm like, I know you did. It's okay. No, it's not. No, we're not going to do this shame game. Get the fuck back on the horse, bud.
They weren't part of the program, though.
They weren't working the program.
We would have done that.
They weren't working the program.
Yeah.
They weren't working the program. If you follow the steps and keep it simple and sustainable, it's impossible to fall off the horse. Because the horse is laying on the ground like, come on, it's all good. Now, does any of this sound familiar? The gorging, the starving, right? I know it is because we hear it from everyone. The key is metabolic recovery. You have to have that metabolic recovery. And this is when you do decrease calories, you lose fat. Your body needs a slow adjustment period. So if we ever adjust people's macros, it's like 100 calories at a time. I'm not changing macros every week. I barely change macros. And it blows people's minds. They're like, when are you going to change my macros? I'm like, you're losing at the rate I want. It's good. And if you're in a metabolic recovery, this is where we slowly raise your calories back up and let your body sustain it and level, right? Balance. This keeps you shredded without having to gorge before your trip or during your trip. This keeps your metabolism in check and continues to burn fat during and after your trip. This does so many things, and it's the key to it all. But I promise you, if you miss this step or if you don't know how to do it, you will continue on this roller coaster forever. And it is not a fun roller coaster. I love carbs.
So that first one was, we kind of went off on a tangent on carbs. So I want to get back to that. You are going to have to be in a calorie deficit to get where you want. But what Jen is talking about is it's the key is that metabolic recovery. That's what you skip. You don't slowly raise your calories. You just cut them until you hit that vacation. And then you bounce them off the roof instead of slowly raising them up so your metabolism goes with. There's so much science behind that. Like I told you, we're not going to dig into each one of these today.
Yeah, I got on the science.
That's all right. We just want to point out metabolic recovery is what you missed. And that is why all that weight came back on.
Yep.
You can look up metabolic recovery. You can Google it. You can reach out to us and we'll go into it deep with you if you want. The second
Clearly,
one,
I'll take a long time to do it.
I'll let Jen handle that one. The second one is just doing dumb stuff. So the first one's metabolic recovery. The second one is just doing dumb things. When I say dumb things, I'm talking about you're in the gym, you see someone who may be in decent shape or even worse, an influencer online. So you start following their program. And dumb stuff is excessive cardio. I mean, we're busy parents. We don't have time for that. You know, and again, we could give examples of why this is bad. You know, it's going to eat up all your muscle. We're not going to go into it too deep, but excessive cardio, you don't need that. A super high intense workout, HIIT workouts, they can be fun. You feel good afterwards, but they're not going to get you shredded. A bunch of burpees, not going to get you shredded. Sit-ups, not going to get you shredded. None of that's going to do that for you. Why don't these work? It's simple. You need muscle to burn fat. Doing these things can help you lose weight on the scale, but who gives a shit what the scale says? We want the body. So you've got to lift heavy to burn fat and build muscle. 3 to 4 times a week. That's what you need in the gym. So those are the first two. Pretty, I think, somewhat straightforward. It goes against the grain of what all that advertising you've heard, but that metabolic recovery, the proper time when you're bringing your calories up so your body catches up and your body's functioning the right way. And the second one is doing dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Ready for the third one?
I'm ready.
Number 3. This is the silver bullet because you can get all the fitness tips. You can get all the nutrition tips. You can get all the mindset tips and all the guidance online. It's all out there. It's free. But be honest with yourself. You've tried to put this all together by yourself, or you've worked with a coach, only to be confused or worse, not 100% sure if this is going to work. This number 3 has everything to do with having that dream body. It's self-image. You cannot outwork or outperform your self-image long-term. You cannot outwork or outperform self-image long-term. You can do it for 30, 60, 90 days. Long-term, you cannot outperform your self-image.
I can say with all honesty, you cannot. I am living proof.
You do it, like I said, 60 to 90 days and you return to the old person is what happens. You're missing, yes, that metabolic recovery. You miss that piece, but that self-image is what has continued to torpedo you year after year. New Year's resolution after New Year's resolution, vacation to vacation. This is what's torpedoed you guys. And I'm not talking about the self-image where, hey, I'm the party guy of the crowd and I need to hit up 3 to 4 happy hours. That's part of it, but that's not really what I'm talking about. Or, hey, I'm the responsible mom of the group, so I always got to make sure that I get everything done. And I'm going to miss my workout today to make sure that I get all this stuff to the meeting. That is part of the self-image, but not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how you show up daily, how you see yourself, the person that can conquer anything you want, the person that is so uniquely, you're so unique that you can do anything you want and the world starts to bend in your favor. That self-image of a person. When you develop that self-image, the cookie in the cover doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah.
That meeting that you're used to have to attend that you really don't need to be there no longer weighs on your heart because you have such a good self-image of yourself and what you can do, what you're here on this earth for. That's a bunch of rah-rah. So I will tell you, you do need a systematic approach to this to change that self-image. You can't just wake up one day and say, I can conquer the fucking world. You have to have a systematic approach to ingrain that in your brain over time because you've been doing it one way for 20 years. It's going to take a few weeks to change that. And like me, you can do that. I was that person. That is where the Phoenix Method came from. I flipped that self-image. I killed that old person. But I had to do it through systematic change. And you become a totally new person, totally in charge of your state, totally in charge of your future, and excited to jump out of bed every single day once you get that done. It starts with thinking bigger. And I know that sounds simple, but that's why you have to have systems in place to think bigger than yourself, to realize you are capable of way more than you thought you were. It doesn't mean you need a 3-hour morning routine. None of us have time for that. Just like we don't have time for the excess cardio. We do not have time for 3 hours in the morning. But it boils down to putting your head down every single day and who you're letting in your head every single day.
I love this piece. I was literally just working with 3 of my clients one-on-one today on this specifically.
It's because it's so important. It's the silver bullet.
It's alignment.
Yes. It's a great word.
It is congruency. I'll get to that in a second. We work with our clients using Victory Hour. And we also do specific goal setting tactics, 100 material things, 100 experiences, things to consistently challenge their own beliefs in themselves. I was talking to one of my clients and I said, I need to know what your big goal is that you're stretching. And her big goal was to wear a pair of short shorts this summer and feel comfortable in them. And I said, great. What are you doing to get there? Have you bought them? Do you try them on every day? Oh, no. All right. How are we going to practice this? How are we going to convince you until it's time that it's no longer just your self-image? It's a belief. It's ingrained. You said ingrained earlier. I love that.
Well, you said the word alignment or what congruency,
Both.
alignment. That goes right back to what I said earlier. I stood for nothing and I stood against nothing
Oh my God, yes.
until I got congruent with
You
who
were
I was.
so congruent. Now, this Victory Hour, it doesn't need to be an hour.
Yep.
Like you do not have 3 hours. Got it. Ditto. Samesies. But if you don't take this moment to align yourself every single morning, you will be on that hamster wheel. What Victory Hour does is unhooks that hamster wheel and turns it out to a road. Oh, I like that. You do this and it starts to open up all new thoughts. Jen, I never thought that'd be possible. Well, no, because you didn't think about it. And once you started thinking about it, guess what happened? It happened.
And sometimes it's 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You mentioned it didn't have to be an hour.
It does. It just has to, with all the thoughts you've been thinking, you
Yes.
could be another Lincoln.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, but right? You don't think the thoughts are not going to be thoughts. You combine this with the right type of nutrition and the right type of workouts, and you will turn around in 90 days and you will look in the mirror and you will finally see the person that you've dreamed about. Why? Because you've designed them. This is why you didn't receive a message from us last week. Sorry. I'm here. Our self-image has changed. Our kids will always come first now. And last week, we didn't need to be the servant leaders with our message here. We needed to show up as mom and dad. We still needed that practice because we believe we're those people now. We didn't need to change our self-image to add more altruism and help others, help others, help others. Our self-image had to realign with what truly only matters. The rest after that are just tactics for solidifying the belief that we've evolved into those people. And yeah, we still worked out. And we still did our best to stay on our food. But our alignment was where our hearts needed to be. So I end with, maybe you don't need that motivation. Maybe you don't need to do all the things. Maybe you just need to align with who the fuck you really want to become and then execute those tactics to solidify the belief.
I love it. You go from joking
Sorry.
to right into the heart.
I'm an all or nothing kind of girl.
I think next week, maybe the episode will be on that.
Why Jen cries so easily?
No. I think next week, you're going to want to tune in for next week because it's already rolling in my head how we talk about the experience we had this last week versus the experience we had 3 years ago. And then I think,
I don't know if I have enough tissue for that.
I think everything Jen just said at the end will make total sense then.
Yeah.
So you got to tune in next week. We'll see if we can hit it or not.
Fingers crossed. All right, y'all, we'll talk to you next time.